Functions and equations. In functions, y's can repeat but x's can't.
For example, if the question says, is this relation a function? As you see here, there are two x's that repeat, the 2 and the 2. That means this would not be a function, and that's not allowed. But if you see here, there's two y's that repeat, the 4 and the 4. That is allowed. Also, you can make an xy table. And the cool part about this is that you have your x and your y, and you get to create your x's, and then you plug them into the machine and see what it spits out. So you could put 0, 1, or 2, and then you plug it into this. So for example, 4 plus 0 equals y. That would just be 4. So then 1 point would be 0, 4. So with your x and your y as a pair, the create and the find, you would graph them.
I'm just going to play it by ear.
Equations with
Okay?
two variables.
You have 20 minutes
To
for
do
your
an
section.
equation with two
So if you have
variables,
10
plug in
slides, that
x
means
and
you
then
have 2
solve for
minutes
y.
for each
Example.
slide.
So if an equation gives you an example that says y equals 3x plus 4 and x equals negative 1, you would replace x with the number that x gave you. And then you would put it in where x should be. You solve the rest of the equation by using PEMDAS. So you would times first in this problem, and then you would add. So y equals 1.
Slope and y-intercept. Slope is rise over run, so you would go up and then to the sides, or down. Down and up is rise, and then run is sides. And then also, slope is the difference in y's and differences in x's. So for example, your y, which could be 1, or your other y, your y1, which could be 5, for example. So 1 minus 5 would be negative 4. And then if your x2 is 5 and your x1 is 1, you would get 4. So it would be negative 4 over 4. And that would be your slope. Now, for y-intercept, this is an example of a problem. Whatever is by your x is the slope, and whatever is the leftover number is the y-intercept. So, the y-intercept is where you start, and then you use your slope to go, for example, up 1 over 2. Or, you could change positives to negatives. You could go down 1 over 2. Now let's see an example. Now there is slope. So, for example, it will give you a problem, and it will say to solve. Now, it gave you the points 1, 1 and 2, 2. So, if you plug them in to the x2 minus x1 and the y2 minus y1, so the y's are on top and the x's are on the bottom, and you get 1 over 1. Now, we have to graph them.
I did. I thought she should be taller.
I know, but you're supposed to go now.
I know.
Go now.
Write a mustache on it. Or do a curly mustache. Draw a curly mustache. No. Curly mustache. Do a curly mustache. That's so funny.
Solving systems of linear equations. First, you have to get y by itself. So there will be two equations where you must get y by itself. Then you solve each equation and you find the y-intercept and the slope for both. Then you graph and see where they intersect. The point where they cross / intersect is your answer.